So let's talk about cleaning data. If you looked at the API videos, you'll see that we were gathering two different data frames from Quandl and then merging them together. One of the things when we do that, we need to see whether the data is the right data before we merge it. One of the ways to do that would be to do a describe on each data frame. And some people might say if we have gender listed as 1 and 2, figuring out the average to that's a waste of time. Maybe, but it will give us some idea if our data is correct. If we're assuming that there's 50% women and 50% men, and we do a mean of 1s and 2s, and we get 2.75, maybe our data isn't the correct data. If we're looking at index values that should run between 1 and 100, and our minimum is 1 and our maximum is 1,000, again, maybe the data we have isn't the data we think we're going to have. Because again, we're not looking at this data at all. It's coming in, we're manipulating it, and then we're spitting out making decisions based on it. So describing the data beforehand is a good way of knowing whether our data is the right data that we think it is. Well, not the right data, at least the data we think it is. So that's what I was doing with cleaning 1 here. It's just showing I'm not going to run it to wait for the Quandl to load again. If we look at cleaning 2 here, you can see that I'm now creating my own data set. We're looking using numpy for that. And now I have here npy is NaN, which is not a number or null. And what we have here is you can see it comes out as capital N, small a, capital N for not a number. And so we have two values that basically have missing values. And if we run the isNull method, you can see that isNull is false because there's a value in 0. It's true because it's not a number in 1 or is null. So we can use the isNull method to figure out which one of our pieces of data is null or not. And this is what we're going to be talking about for the rest of these. Where is number 3? If we look at cleaning number 3. So we have the same series. We have two pieces of missing data. If we run it, you can see we have two pieces of missing data. If we run drop NA, it drops the missing data from the data frame. Now, we didn't cast this anywhere. So names.drop NA will spit out a list of the data without the missing data in it, but it doesn't change the underlying data. That's where we get back to the inline is true or whether we cast it to a new data frame. But if we just run this, it will print it out. But as you can see, we're back to the same data here. So you have to cast this or use inline equals true to make the changes stick in the data frame. If we look at cleaning number 4, you can see I'm now making two-dimensional data. And if we run this, you can see that I have a two-dimensional data form. And it's not square. So we got 3 columns and 4 rows of data. And you can see I then update my values in my values 1, and I have some hidden or missing data in there. You can see the two pieces of missing data as well. And if I use my drop NA, but I cast it to a new data type, a new variable, then I can print that new variable out because now I have 3 data frames. I have the my values and my values 1 and my clean values. The my clean values is the cast new data frame from using the drop NA. If we look at cleaning 5, you can see I again have a two-dimensional data that has some missing values in it, and I can transpose the data. And this will allow us to do some other cleaning that makes sort of sense later on. So you can see we have at the end of 2 and the end of 1, and again it's 3 columns and 4 rows. After I transpose it, I have 4 columns and 3 rows, but the data has just been flipped along the diagonal axis. And then if I clean the first set of data, I lose those 2 rows of data. If I clean the second set of data, I'll lose all the rows except 1. And this is where you start thinking about Are you looking to drop rows or are you looking to drop columns? If you want to drop columns, you got to transpose to drop the rows if you're going to use drop NA, because drop NA only works with rows.